Hello, everyone. Welcome to Astrological Association New Moon Update. Before we start, I have a very important news to tell you because the early bird of this year's conference is going to end around the end of April. So don't forget, go to our website to register to book your place, okay? But before that, we will talk about this month's New Moon Update. Hello, Wendy. Hello, Alejo. How are you?
Hi, Rod.
Hi.
Hi, Alejo.
Hi, Wendy. Nice to see you both.
Yeah. Oh. Well, this month is kind of a very interesting transit, isn't it, Wendy?
It is. It is. We have a new moon in Taurus at 7 degrees, and that makes a very, very strong and tight T-square in the sky with Mars and Pluto. So Mars is in Leo, Pluto's in Aquarius, and they're forming a square to that sun moon in Taurus. So it's a very fixed T-square. It's a very tight T-square. So it's not really the time to be flexible right now. I guess what the best thing to do is, pull your resources together, focus, concentrate on things, get things done, that sort of thing. It can feel like an engine, this is
Mm.
like, plowing through something. So it's a really good idea to do just that.
Mm. So focus on one thing and go deep and just like keep thinking it.
Yeah, that's
That's
the
very,
one.
yeah, that's the one. So Alejo, your interpretation of this new moon?
Yeah, I agree with Wendy. I think it's quite tense. What I would add is the idea of perhaps trying to be gentle with yourself. I understand what Wendy said. It's not the moment to be changing and being too flexible, this idea of rigidity. Uh, but I would also add there might be, this sense of being powerless in the things you want to achieve, or the opposite, having to invest so much energy, like feeling like you have to cancel other aspects of life to concentrate and focus on one thing. And I think that this can sometimes build up a lot of tension inside. So
Mm.
I would add the idea of, if you can, try to breathe. Don't forget to
Mm.
breathe. Like Wendy was saying, focus on what you have to do, but don't forget to breathe, because I think there's a lot of the moon and the sun, of course, are standing in the midpoint between Jupiter and Saturn. I always look at the midpoints,
Uh-huh.
and Jupiter and Saturn are in a square also. A little bit wide, perhaps 7 degrees, but they're in a square. So I think it's a really tense moon, just like what Wendy was saying. Like, hold on to your resources, and it's a very tense moon. So try, I would say, let's try to breathe. Let's try to breathe. Let's do what's breathable, because I think the inner demand might be of trying to bring all of these things together, Mars and Pluto, which can be quite destructive, and Jupiter and Saturn, which can also be quite tense because they're like very opposing principles, can feel very tense.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, I agree with Alejo, and especially if I look from the fixed stars view, and they are the two fixed stars align with this sun and moon. The one of them is the in the Cassiopeia star. It represents the queen in the sky. So there is a symbol of a dignity, and there's symbol of a respect. So what? And another fixed star is in the head of Aries called Hummel, and that fixed star Hummel is a very Martian type of energy. So it's about against something or fighting energy. It totally fits into this Mars and the opposite Pluto and the T square with the sun and the moon. So maybe we have to fight for ourselves, fight for our value, or fight for the dignity and the respect. But I really like what Alejo says. Yeah, sometimes you need don't forget to breathe and try to find something. I mean, sometimes we probably need a little bit of what do we call it, meditation or mindfulness to remind ourselves, say, hey, you probably not really, you need to be full on focused on something, but really if you forget about to calm yourself down or forget to breathe, and that could be very 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 heavy. Don't you
I
think
mean,
so?
I like the idea what Wendy said, this idea of holding on to your resources.
Mm,
And I think of Taurus, the idea of going back to your body. I think that
mm,
it's so tense, it can explode. And like you were saying, it's always hard to know, right? Is the sky telling us that we're supposed to explode, we're supposed to be confronting each other, or is it telling us, be careful, maybe you are overdoing it, you need to relax? It's always difficult to know exactly which one is it. But I would say this idea of holding on to your resources, going back to your body with Taurus, going back,
mm,
what activities, what things help you ground to be more aware whether you are acting from yourself, like, yeah, what you really want to defend, or whether you are just reacting because you feel so invaded with this tension, you feel overtaken by this tension.
Mm.
So
mm,
grounding could be paying attention to your sleep, your meals, could be if you do some sport, could be going to nature, connecting with trees, like activities that help us, because I'm also going to be part of this, go back into our bodies. Yeah.
mm.
I love that.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah. And because Venus rules Taurus, and Taurus is so much about the body, and that Venus right now is sort of sandwiched between Saturn and Neptune. So we see the volatility with the markets, and people get worried
Mm.
about money and finances. And it's squashed right now. But like, I love what you said, Alejo, about so on two, it's squashed between Saturn, which is anchoring and grounding, and Neptune, which is very transcendent.
Mm,
So it's sort of like, and like you said, Alejo, it's hard to know what to do. Do a triathlon where you're swimming, running, biking, or whether you do something really gentle, like you said, Alejo, gentle as well. So this is Tai Chi, it's yoga, it's Pilates, it's
mm.
actually looking after the body, and rather than trying to strain it too much. And it's okay to indulge. It's a new moon in Taurus, so chocolate and cheese is fine.
Oh, yeah. Yes, beautiful. Yeah, I think this new moon is kind of it could be look in a very heavy way, but we also can use it to achieve something great because like that T square that fixed T square is like a hammer. You just like focus on one thing and keep knocking it until you get what you want. Well, but sometimes we have to see something if there's other way. With this fixed T square is a little bit difficult, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the nature though too, what you said, Alejo, too.
Mm,
One of the ways to work with this, with Sun, Moon, and Taurus, just take your shoes off and walk on grass, walk on
Yeah.
sand, you know.
beautiful, beautiful.
Mm.
Well, talk about that because I just mentioned about the end of April. We will the early bird discount will finish. So, Wendy, could you give us a little bit more information about this conference?
Yes, well, there's just 1 week, not even that. 1 week, no, actually, there's like a few days until the end of April. So you can still get £200 off the residential conference, and you can get 125 off the online conference. So these are only until the end of April. So please book. It's a fabulous conference, incredible lineup of speakers. It's going to be in Nottingham. It's going to be fun, social, educational. There's something there for everyone, and there's going to be 4 tracks at the same time, so lots to choose from. So come along, join us. It's always fun. Come and play with me, Alejo and Ron.
Yes.
We're all gonna get our shoes off and walk on the grass
Walk on the
together.
grass. Yeah.
Definitely, definitely. It would be a good time to think about that. Well, thanks everyone for joining us for this month's New Moon update. And don't forget to go to visit our website and book your place for the conference. Is online and also is in Nottingham. So come to see us and see you next month. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.